Hello and welcome to Cheating Exposed. Today's story is Wife Cheated. A lot, even with family, and it changed me for real. My wife, 27 female, and I, 28 male, have been together since high school. She had a history of being hoey before we met. I took my chances and fell head over heels for her. I dropped everyone and everything for her. Looking back, it was 100% toxic. She got pregnant with our daughter, who is my world. Welcoming my beautiful human into this world gave me life. At age 20, I found out when my daughter was a year old that my wife cheated on me 9 months before she was pregnant, with my twin brother. I remember nutting in her and saying, "I hope you got pregnant off of that one 9 months before she was born too." It's a mystery that I am fine not finding out. I'm not even sure if it is possible being as we are twins. The wife and I never have talked about it. His wife and I worked together, and we left early one day. I acted like him to sign their marriage venue because we are identical and he couldn't leave work. His wife came on to me that day, and I told him. He took my phone and said, "I want to see if my wife would do that to me." I think he felt guilty, and that's what sparked him to tell me about him and my wife. I was in shock and heartbroken. I told my wife to go to her parents. She did. I knew I needed to teach her a lesson, even though I wanted to put it behind me and act like it never happened. I heard rumors while living at her mom's that she started messing around with a dude at work. I woke up throwing up on myself. I drove up there to beat his ass, and her car was outside, but she wasn't there. She threw her time cards on the floorboard of her car, and when she picked up our daughter, I would sneak them so I could build a case against her. I felt like she was acting like she was at work and never with our daughter. I wanted her to stop talking to that guy so bad that I told her I would forget about everything else. Her dad told me to be her Prince Charming and stay persistent, or my daughter will be calling someone else dad. She is just trying to find herself. This is what happens when you are young and want to play house, etc. I cried and cried to make it stop. It didn't. It stopped when I stopped. I stopped trying to make it work, and she freaked out. We ended up moving to Utah to start fresh. I took a promotion for work, and we moved to Utah. I was optimistic, and she became miserable. I would come home on my lunch every day and cater to my family to build excitement about the new life. She stayed miserable and said she wanted to move back home. She moved home a few weeks earlier than I did. She stayed with my family while I finished out work in Utah and packed our house. My mom went to my aunt's house where my wife was for the day, and she had a glass door with shapes that you could barely see through. Through a little piece of glass, she saw my younger brother and wife laying on the couch. When she rang the doorbell, she saw them jump up, and my younger brother was fixing his belt. She called my wife a whore and called her mom to come get her. I had no idea this happened because my mom knew this was the second brother she did this with. While this was happening, I knew nothing and told my wife I think we need a break. She knew I didn't know. I ended up having sex with my boss daughter. I know that was shitty of me, and I tried to tell my wife, but she shut me down. I learned later why. I went to my aunt's house, and my mom spent the night with me there. My wife was blowing up my phone at 2 a.m. She was drunk and had just left the bar. She was freaking out and crying. My mom woke up and said, "WTF does she want?" I was shocked my mom said that. Then my mom said, "I'll take her home." Shocked again. I said, "No, I'll do it." My mom screamed and said, "I seen her fucking Derek, my other brother." Who's next on her list? My husband, which is my dad, my mother yelled. I took her to her mom's. I asked, "Did you fuck my brother?" She said no. She got out of the car and said she was going to kill herself because of the rumor. She was going to kill herself because we were not together. She was drunk and laid on the ground, screaming she wanted to die. I took her to her mom's, where my daughter was because it was her night, and laid in the bed with her till she fell asleep to make sure she didn't do anything stupid. I waited for her to fall asleep, and I cried. A few years later, I got a FB video chat request from her ex-boyfriend's girlfriend. She told me my wife was a whore, that she broke up their family when she went back to her hometown to visit her other family. I gave her my car, and she sent me a voicemail of my wife calling her boyfriend saying her tire was flat. My tire pressure light stayed on, and I knew this was true. She then forwarded me pics of my wife naked. I received the same pics from my wife. I asked my wife if they had sex. She said no. I told her, for some reason, I am no longer fazed by this kind of shit, and she started to cry. She cheated on this dude with his best friend. Since then, my wife is now great. She is an amazing mom. She went to counseling. I hate that she accuses me of cheating constantly. She makes the bed every morning. That is what amazing people do. I don't go through her phone. I don't accuse her of being unfaithful. I asked each time I found something out, "Did you cheat?" She would say no. I didn't investigate further because I didn't want to know. I remember praying, "Lord, let me be lied to." I didn't want to deal because I didn't want to react. For if I react, I knew other lives were going to be affected, my children, my parents, my siblings, and even my wife. I protected them, even though I didn't cause this. Here is the problem. It's been 4 years. I still bottle it up because I never handled it. I know I should have left. I think I have thrown it in her face at least 3 times. One time saying, "You fucking shattered me, seen me broken, and I had to put me together because you lied, and this is who I am now." Tough as shit. We tried marriage counseling, and I found myself getting defensive for her and having her back. She went to individual counseling, and it helped her. Back when it happened and I tried to talk about it, I saw her freak out and thought, "Oh God, the guilt will cause her to hurt herself." So I quickly shut up and shut down. I am not as affectionate. I am not reassuring. Because of this, maybe I never forgave her? Sometimes I think, hold her hand. Then I remember, don't put your walls down or you will get hurt. Now that all the shit has expired, it's wrong for me to try to sort it out. My advice is, don't hold it in. That's not being a hero. That's enabling, and it will cause you to self-destruct. P.S. Don't want you all thinking, hell, this guy must have done something. I am fun, outgoing. I always make people feel comfortable, and I can make anyone smile and laugh. I don't have any real haters, and I don't hate. I am attractive and fit and great in bed, and a great size. All the standard reasons why people cheat do not apply here. I'm not overselling because of a deep-rooted insecurity either. LOL. I'm not as good of a person as I used to be, but I am still a good guy. I know I'm not great to her now because of it. She is insecure. Really insecure. Especially when it comes to our relationship. She has a huge fear of me leaving her. She fears when the children are 18 that I will be out. Update. My wife, 27 female, constantly cheated on me, 28 male, for the first 4 years of our marriage. I know of 4 people. Probably more. The first thing you will think is, I have no self-esteem. Probably true at the time. I was stripped from it. The first knife I felt in my heart was when I found out she cheated 9 months before our first daughter was born. Take a DNA test? Can't. Because I am an identical twin and we have the same DNA. Yes, the first cheat I know of was with my twin. He told me. I asked her, and she said no. I never asked. Again. My daughter was 3 when I found out. I told my wife we needed a break so I can process this. I was devastated. I still loved her, and I wouldn't see the truth. I bottled it up. During the first week of our break, a friend told me she was hooking up with someone at her work. I was so hurt that I threw up and couldn't eat for days. I wanted to try anger instead of sadness and drove up to her job to confront them because she told me it was a lie and hung up on me. When I got there, I thought I was going to get to beat his ass. Her car was there, and he wasn't. She was a shitty mom at the time and a shitty person. But I still loved her, and I just wanted the pain to stop. So I said, please come home, and I'll forget everything. I was desperate to make the pain stop. I told God I'd be his best guy on earth and read the Bible every day. We ended up working things out. As soon as I stopped caring, she came back. We moved to Utah because I got promoted. I saw that she was miserable there. I came home on my lunch break every day to try and motivate and excite her about our new city, but it didn't work. I was kissing her ass, and I hated me for it. I didn't do as wrong, she did. We ended up moving back home. I let her move back 2 weeks early while I packed up the house. When she went home, my spirit knew something was wrong. I called my mom and said, I don't want her staying at your house. I'm done. She said okay. I expected her to say, no. She has my grandbaby. I was shocked at her response. While separated, I hooked up with a co-worker. She brought me lunch every day when she found out I was separated. I tried to tell the wife. She didn't want to hear it. I then moved back home. I noticed the wife was drinking every day. I stayed the night at my aunt's house with my mom that night, and at 2 a.m., my wife was blowing up my phone. She asked if we could talk. I was like, nah. She was dropped off in my aunt's driveway by her friend after going to a bar. My mom woke up and heard some of the convo and said, tell her I'll take her to her mom's. I said, no, I can take her there. My mom was extremely upset. I was so confused. My mom yelled, deal's off. Ask her what she did. I said, what happened? My mom said, I caught her and Derek, my younger brother, on the couch. My mom called her a name and told her not to talk to me unless it was about my daughter and that she better not try to get back with me. My wife broke the deal. I took her home because she was drunk and confronted her. She said, we didn't have sex, I was just laying next to him. I didn't want to be hurt again and feel the pain, or let my daughter feel anything. My wife laid in the road, screaming she didn't want to live anymore. I carried her inside of her mom's house and waited for her to pass out so she didn't do anything stupid. Once I knew she was sleeping, I cried. My heart broke, yet again. I chose to stay to keep the pain less. I stayed for the fear of her doing worse damage to me. I stayed because I loved her. I stayed with her for our family. If I stay and take the hits, my daughter won't know this pain. I bottled all this up. It broke me, and I know my wife saw me shattered. I didn't want to hear the truth either. The next year, my wife went back to her hometown to see her biological father's house. A month after that quick trip, I got a FB video call from her ex's girlfriend. She told me my wife broke up her family. She said she found a voicemail on her dude's phone that said, my tire is flat. My wife had my car, and my tire pressure light was always on. I found this believable. She also sent pics of my wife naked. My wife sent me the same ones. I called my wife and said, I am not surprised anymore. My wife said that ruined her when I said that. Quickly, she changed. Overnight. She went to counseling, and all I thought was, as soon as my daughter is 18, I am out of here. Since then, for years ago, I always said I will deal with this pain when I am ready. But also, since then, she has become great. She is even a better parent than me. She cooks, she cleans, she honestly lives her life around me. The worst thing is she has isolated herself. She is really insecure. She thinks I will cheat or leave her. She wants me to put my guard down, and I know we are supposed to forgive. And I act as though I have. I can't make her pay for mistakes that were from 4 to 10 years ago. I can tell her past gets in her way of living. I am attractive, funny. I make everyone feel comfortable, and I know I am a great guy. I don't want you all to think I am a joke. I work, and I have worked multiple jobs in the past to keep up with our lifestyle. I hide my feelings very well. I can fake happy, and people see me as always uplifting and optimistic. If anyone knew how bad I struggle with this, they would be blindsided. I either trust her, or I don't care anymore. I can't tell the difference. I don't check her phone. Yet I'm still angry. Still hurt. I know it's because I stayed quiet. It's been for years. Why the fuck can't I just let it go? Not all the time, but a lot of times there is a silent war in my head. I hate me for staying. I hate me for staying quiet. It has gotten a lot better since it happened. But it's still there. It is really unfair for me to hold this against her because I chose to stay. I know I need to talk to a professional, but that is a lot of work because I will have to hide it, and it will spike her anxiety. If I tell her, she will know it's about her. I recently had an Adderall addiction. She has thrown that in my face a few times, and then I'll bring up her shit. She immediately halted the argument. Do I just leave without letting her know why? Just let her assume? This way she won't have to relive her horrible doings and cause her to fall into a deep depression. Am I supposed to try and talk about it with her? Again, it's been for years. At some point, it expires. It's not fair to her to bring it up because I stayed. It also isn't fair to me because I had to live with lies and no answers. Also, why is it important to know details of cheating? Do you want to know if your wife performed acts? Did she get off? Did they use a condom? Did they kiss? Etc. These details sound so specific, and won't it ruin more things for you by knowing details? A lot of things say that husbands wanted details. Why? Do details help the healing? I guess I want to know what a stranger thinks. Will the pain ever die, with or without my marriage? Well, folks, that's all. Thank you all for listening. Please like, comment, and share the video if you enjoyed it. Also, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you will be notified when we upload the next video. Take care.